The whole Drew McIntyre and CM Punk storyline is so confusing. Why do you say so? I did forget that. Good thing you brought that up. I forgot that whole thing at the beginning, or not. I don't know if it was at the beginning, but the whole Drew McIntyre. Um, let's see, Drew McIntyre. I guess the whole thing came down to he just had to apologize to the refs, and his ego and his pride wouldn't let him do it. His Scottish pride. I will not. I will not apologize. Um. Yeah, I guess it was. I guess this is why it's confusing. I think Muhammad is because they're doing whatever they can to just prolong it. And I think there's a part of them that may not be confident that CM Punk will be able to even have a match at SummerSlam. We're talking about fragile Punk, ceramic made Punk. We're talking about frail Brooks. Yeah, he's I guarantee you if he does have a match with Drew, he gets injured. Not wishing this. Again, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't wish any kind of like stuff like that, but I'm just saying what I think is going to happen based on what I've been seeing, and Phil Brooks is injury prone. So, I believe it's confusing because of the fact they can't have matches, but they want to have this match badly. And they're really relying on Drew to keep the whole thing fucking together. And I think a lot of people aren't giving Drew the credit. He's been, to me, a lot of people disagreed with me when I said this, but he's been one of the most entertaining people. His storyline. However, I do get where you're coming from. I do understand it being confusing, but I think I understand that it's coming from the place of they're just trying to stall and figure out if Punk could even do it, if Punk is even going to be cleared. So I think they wanted to make the match. It may be one of those things that at SummerSlam, Drew comes out or Punk comes out and they don't officially announce the match, and then at SummerSlam they actually have some kind of match unannounced. One of them comes out and starts a match. So could be them again. If they do that, it's because they were just stalling because they weren't sure. They weren't sure if Punk could do it. So that's where I think that's where I think the confusion comes from. I think they wanted it to be way more cut and dry. But yeah, Drew. Again, I thought he played it up. Thought he played it up pretty well. Am I the only one noticing though that there's a lot of Adam Pearce lately, kind of pushing around his weight? I'm starting to get the feeling that they may be going into heel GM mode again. But there's a lot of Adam Pearce being involved in storylines and sort of having tension with a lot of guys. We see Braun Breaker, and Drew McIntyre. I don't think there's been anybody else off the top of my head, but yeah, so far they're sort of. I feel like they're plugging him in a little too much for it to not be like sort of a new norm going forward. Or maybe I just haven't noticed and he's always been on that much. But yeah, usually I see him come in just for a quick, like, hey, announcement. And then he's out of there. But I've seen him like have actual back and forth sort of interactions with a lot of people. And this Drew McIntyre thing came off as heel GM Pearce. Definitely part of the story going forward. So yeah, I see that. Definitely that's what all of that is. Drew just couldn't do it, couldn't apologize to the lowly referees, pushed him around, and then I guess prolonged his suspension. And we'll see. We'll see if they have a match. We'll see if Punk could even do it. And I get the feeling that if Punk isn't able to perform at SummerSlam, that might be it for Punk. That might be it. So we will definitely see. Thank you for reminding me about that, Muhammad. I totally missed that on my notes. Uh-oh.